One at a time, and we'll get the job done. Y'all know what to say. On three. 1, 2, 3.
And the home of the Jets.
Mr. Primetime.
Good evening, Tyson.
Thank
you for the invite. So honored to be a guest on Let's Talk Jets Radio. What's up?
You're the insider. You're the Jets insider, man. You're the one that's on the field going viral everywhere. I'm just a guy trying to fucking get an interview here.
Much appreciated. Thank you, Tyson.
How's your summer going, man?
Oh, it's going pretty well. Spending it at Jets camp now. Just finished up coaching a few weeks ago, so doing a lot of running.
Any Jersey Shore action? Any Donovans?
Twice. That's it. Haven't been there in a few weeks though.
Was it crowded?
July 4th, it was packed. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Dude, it's been crazy. The Asbury and Avon, dude, by like 12:30, 1 o'clock, it's like, forget it. Time to go. Wait, just like
when I go down there, I try to get there at like 7, 8, just so I can get parked. I can relax, not have to worry about that. So,
well, Donovan's is like there's no like one place to park. It was like only limited parking there too, right? Like once you can't park.
My buddy lives like a half mile down the road, so he's got like an apartment complex that has guest parking. So I usually just park there before it fills up. So,
yeah, man. I figured you'd be there all the time. We're back. Yes, Mr. Primetime. This guy is the Jets, legitimate Jets insider. You want practice information. He's got viral videos. He's got all kinds of stuff. He got all the insights. Don't ask Connor Hughes. Ask this guy right here. He knows all the information.
I do what I can.
So I got a question for you though. With the practices, is there a different vibe this year as opposed to last year?
I do kind of agree with Salah's quote about it being a little bit more business-like, but just as far as the energy, just it being fun, locking in on Aaron Rodgers, from that aspect, it's still kind of the same. A lot of excitement, a lot of energy. But yeah, it seems like guys are a little bit more locked in. Obviously, you got all the handshakes going on, Rodgers, with all the ball boys doing shit like that, which I love. But yeah, once it gets to the team reps, it just seems like guys are a little bit more focused, a little bit more locked in.
How are the fans? Are the fans excited as last year? Or are they more kind of like...
It's a little subdued this year, believe it or not. I mean, like the Rodgers chants were nuts last year. This year, it kind of felt like it was almost forced a little bit. Like, all right, here he comes. We got to do it. We got to serenade him, which is fine. They're excited to see him. But it seems like it's a little bit more subdued from last year. I think there's more of like a prove-it mindset from the fan base. We want to see this team healthy, get through training camp. And then once the season starts, we'll get excited. I'm not in that boat. I'm excited right now. I can't wait. But it seems like a lot of people just kind of want to wait and see.
Now, the one thing that Salah talked about, I guess a lot of reporters talked about too, is a new accountability where on offense, penalty, you're out, drop pass, you're out. And that's, dude, we've been talking about that for like years, like all these penalties, no repercussions for a bad play. Is that a tone you've seen throughout all the practices?
Well, I mean, Thursday, John Simpson, he had 2 false starts. He came right out after each one. Xavier Newman came in. And I think even Tyron Smith, he had another one. And then somebody came in, I think it was Fashanu, actually, that came in for him. And then it was punt returns. Corley was back there. His very first punt, he muffs it. They send him over to the gunner drill. So I'm like, all right, I guess it's a good message to send.
I think it's great, dude. Like you have to set a standard here. Like you can't have Aaron Rodgers setting a standard and then the rest of the team sitting like behind Salah, like, oh, well, you can make mistakes. Like,
well, you got to balance that also with Keith Carter, the new version of Keith Carter, who's going to be a little bit more, I guess, nicer to some of the players and try to tone down some of the rhetoric. So it's a give and take, I guess.
Do you see anything? Do you see like an improved like leadership role from Rodgers? Is he a lot more active this year as opposed to last year, or no?
Same as last year. I mean, you noticed the same kind of things, like the one play where there was the miscommunication where the ball got batted down at the line. Garrett Wilson like kind of chucked his helmet a little bit. He was pissed off. I don't know if he was looking for Rodgers to like throw it earlier or hit him at a certain spot. But yeah, they talked it out for like 2 minutes. You see him obviously talking with Hackett a lot after plays. There's a few others where he's talking with Ruckert and Conklin. So it just seems like whatever doesn't go right during a play. I wasn't there today. I heard he got stepped on, and then they had a long conversation afterwards. So it just seems like whenever there's some kind of breakdown, he does address it right away, which is obviously what you want.
Now, the one interesting thing is that now you have Tyrod Taylor there. So, like last year, it was Rodgers, Zach, Tim Boyle. So, like after Rodgers, there was an enormous drop off in terms of like performance on the field. I think having Tyrod as a backup is a great thing, but also in practice where Rodgers comes off, you still have a high level quarterback and still run your offense. Do you see a difference there with Tyrod?
Absolutely. And especially trying to evaluate some of these other receivers, like Mike Williams isn't playing right now. Gibson's banged up. You want to get a look at some of these other guys, and you're seeing the connection already with Tyrod Taylor, Malik Taylor. Seems like they're on the same page making plays. Brownlee's caught a few balls. So it just seems like the offense is able to run a little bit more smooth with the number twos. Although Zach Wilson, I mean, he had his moments in practice also last year. And then once the lights came on and it became real, then we saw the real Zach Wilson. But it does seem like the offense runs a little bit smoother with Tyrod back there.
Probably a different level of respect too, man. It's like, Tyrod's like a veteran that's, like a respect the guy in the locker room. Like, all right, they'll run the routes for him. And like, if he says something, they'll kind of like, all right, I'll kind of buy what you're saying because Zach, we don't believe. So I guess we can go position by position. Obviously, Rodgers starting off camp on fire, which usually the defense is ahead of the offense. The first week of camp, the offense was just rolling, which is great to see, especially coming off of last year. I guess familiarity with the offense, a lot of guys returning, they understand it. But does it seem like they're in and out of the huddle faster? They kind of know more what they're doing?
Same kind of stuff that we saw last year. I mean, what Rodgers, I try to edit all this stuff out of like the clips that I show and all the videos, but like he gets up to the line quick, does the quick snap sometimes. Others, he'll get up there quick. He'll diagnose the defense, make a few adjustments. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like he's on top of things like that. Yeah, it looks good. It looks smooth. I mean, they're still figuring things out. Obviously, today I heard, the offense was a mess. The first day with the pads on. So I'm curious to get back out there tomorrow and see if there's any difference. But the first few days, it was pretty good, especially with the first team.
So running backs, we know Breece Hall is, Pro Bowl, all pro level, great talent, catching the ball in the backfield. Hackett realizes he can finally do that, which is nice. Hackett opens his eyes and realizes what players can do. What are your thoughts on the rookies, though? Because you had the one guy who looks like Derrick Henry. He's a huge dude. And Allen Davis, a little bit smaller, but fast. Like, what are your thoughts on the rookie running backs?
That's the one guy I really want to see with the pads on, Braylon Allen, because there's a few plays where like he's running into the pile and you can see he's kind of like holding up. But yeah, if he lets loose, I mean, he's running that whole thing over. You can see he looks like he's 240 pounds and he moves quick too. So yeah, he's definitely going to have a role. Would love to see, the old Sean Green, Lamont Jordan, just a guy that can come in fourth quarter when guys are tired and just, put guys down. So excited to see him. Zay Davis, tough runner, a lot quicker than I expected. Tariq Cohen, I think he looks pretty good. You definitely see a role for him on special teams. He's back there returning punts, gets to the outside pretty quick, has some nice cutback ability. You still see the same kind of speed and burst from Izzy. I just don't know where his spot on the roster is going to be. I think with him, it comes down to the issues from last year with pass blocking, learning the playbook. If he gets that figured out, maybe he challenges Tariq Cohen, but I think the draft picks are probably safe.
Now, I guess the biggest thing for Allen was his like pass protection and catching the ball in the backfield. And according to everything, he looks smooth as hell in both, especially catching the ball because he didn't do a lot of that in college. You saw the same thing?
No, absolutely. And that was a surprise. I didn't expect him to be much of a pass catcher. And then you started to hear those whispers a little bit in minicamp. And yeah, you start watching that early on. He moves pretty well, a lot quicker than I expected. Yeah,
and Tariq Cohen's interesting, man. I love to see him find a role in this team, especially with the new kickoff rules and returns. And the other thing too is he could be a really good mentor for these young running backs too. He's been there, done that in the NFL. He knows the game, so he could point out little things, give Breece tips, stuff like that. So having that veteran in the room can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, good third down back to have. You got a lot of young guys back there right now. He's got 270+ catch seasons. I mean, great weapon to have and versatile too.
Now, your thoughts on a guy that we all hated all of last year to the point that he was inactive at the end of the season. And now he seems like he had bad OTAs, bad mini camp, and now training camp starts. He's back on track with Allen Lazard.
Until today.
Until today, bad drop. But are you buying in? Do you think that Rodgers mentoring him and getting back in the flow with his quarterback, he can be serviceable, like maybe average at least?
It'll help having Rodgers back, I think. And also, without Mike Williams out there right now, he's obviously going to get all these opportunities. He's a bigger guy. He's a willing run blocker. I think for now, there's definitely a role for him. The question is, once Mike Williams gets back, is there still going to be that role for him? Like they're giving him a look on special teams a little bit. Is that going to be necessary for him to claim his roster spot? Because honestly, I'd like to see a little bit more Jason Brownlee, Malik Taylor getting some of those reps with Aaron Rodgers just to see what they could do. But yeah, he had a good first few days. I think he had 3 touchdowns in his first 4 practices, especially during the red zone drills. And then today you hear about the drop, which led to the interception. And it's like the drops, the miscommunications, all that shit from last year. If he doesn't clean that up, I mean, his spot shouldn't be safe just because he has a contract.
And that was my question too, because that was always the thing with him in Green Bay too, is those untimely drops that always resulted in big plays. It's always like
Yep.
the worst time. It's like, and they're not the hard passes, it's the easy ones. He'll make the dynamic catch, but have like the drop. You're like, how are you doing that? So Mike Williams not practicing. Gibson's banged up, which is kind of disappointing. But now other guys are getting a chance to show out what they can do. And Malik Taylor to me is interesting because remember last year, Rodgers talked about him last year, the deep threat. He made some plays, and he's still learning the game. He's still trying to find himself in the NFL. But it seems like this camp he's doing the same thing. He's starting to splash again.
Yeah, that was the first play from Zach Wilson, the deep ball last year in preseason. So yeah, he had a very nice showing last year. Early on, he looks very comfortable with Tyrod Taylor. Like I said, I'd love to see some more reps with him and Aaron Rodgers together. But yeah, it's going to be a nice competition between those two, and then you throw in Jason Brownlee as well. And then once Gibson gets back and Mike Williams gets back, I still feel like they could still possibly use a receiver. Obviously, I'm all in on Devontae Adams at the trade deadline. I know that's not going to happen before the season. I think they have the ammunition to pull that off. It seems like it's inevitable that eventually that's going to happen, and maybe that's what they're waiting for. But for right now, without Williams out there, you're kind of one injury away from some potential problems, especially if Garrett Wilson goes down, you're screwed. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you're really Garrett Wilson injured away from having some serious problems because it's so much inexperience there. And the one guy that, when he was drafted, everybody loved him. Yak King, this, that, and everything else. But I think we're slowly realizing it's going to take time for Corley to, A, learn the offense and be productive in it. It's not going to come out and get 1,000 yards this year, right? It's going to be a learning process for him.
And also for the coaching staff to figure out how to use him properly as well, because a lot of the stuff coming out of the draft was that you need the right coaching staff to be able to put the ball in his hands to allow him to do what he does. A lot of it depends on the play calling and things like that. They had him out of the backfield the other day. He was actually pass protecting on one of the deep balls for Garrett Wilson. So it seems like they're willing to use him in some different ways, which I like. Seems like a weapon. Obviously, we know what he could do with the ball in his hands after the catch. I would think Aaron Rodgers is going to find ways to make sure that happens. I mean, he's a dynamic player, so you got to give him the ball wherever you can.
I think I'm most interested to see when like the joint practices start. That's when you start seeing like the real competition, and when a guy in front of you don't know who it is, and you're playing for roster spots. Then there's like there's nowhere to hide. Then so. But I think it's like the receiver group is the only group that I'm kind of like a little worried about. Where like it's like you want Mike Williams. Well, I want Mike Williams back, dude. Like right now, he's not even practicing. Like what do you think is like what week do you want him back by? Like the second week of preseason, or you start getting nervous?
Mid-August, yeah, midway through August. Give him 2-3 weeks to practice, get acclimated to the offense, get in football shape. Yeah, once you start getting to late August, that's where you start worrying about injuries and things like that,
and just chemistry and learning the offense and everything else. So then you go to tight end group. We all love Conklin, right? He's poised for a monster year. But behind him, it gets interesting because we have high expectations for Ruckert, but he hasn't proven it yet. And he's banged up again. And then it's you have Yeboah and Kuntz. And then it's like, all right, that's another group where it's like, I think Ruckert has a chance to show what he can do. But if not, Joe Douglas may have to make a move for a veteran. Like, are you kind of in that boat too, or no?
I mean, they still haven't technically replaced CJ Uzomah yet. So, I mean, we're all hoping it's going to be Ruckert. It seems like he was deserving of those opportunities last year, never really got it. Had the one drop in Saturday's practice. Thursday, he had a few nice catches, though. Heard he limped off today, but I think he was okay. But yeah, I mean, he's going to get every opportunity, especially in the preseason games. I think you're going to see him out there plenty. I'm actually becoming a big fan of Zach Kuntz. Last year, I was like, all right, this guy's not going to make it. Right. He's just like he's built like a string bean, And this year, it just seems like he's a little more sturdy. He's packed on some weight. He looks good after the catch. So if he holds up a little bit better blocking, and you remember the clip from Aaron Rodgers where he caught the touchdown, but he still ran the wrong route. As long as he knows the playbook and he's doing better blocking wise, I think there's definitely a spot for him. Yeboah's, he's been a weapon every year in training camp that he's been with the Jets. Always been a fan of him. So I kind of like the tight end group. Just got to prove it.
From John, not sure if you guys spoke on Hackett yet. He's worry number one for me. No quarterback can call an offense on his own. Look at Brady in 2022. He couldn't elevate Leftwich at OC. I think Hackett's a concern for everybody. I mean, and Carter for that matter. Like,
I was saying the entire coaching staff. I mean, that
counting
when I talk to everybody in the fans, like everybody's saying the exact same thing. This roster is built to go win a championship as long as the coaching staff does not get in the way.
And that's where I'm at. It's like you talked about Carter earlier. It's like we saw so many a failure of in-game adjustments, just communication issues, all these things. Rodgers can hold a lot of people accountable, but to what level? I think it's like at some point you actually got to coach too.
Well, now it's not just Rodgers. Now you got Moses, you got Tyron Smith, and I'm sure you saw the two videos that I posted on Thursday and Saturday. We're talking 15 minutes after practice. Everybody else is inside. If you guys are still signing autographs, they're still out there working drills, working technique, hand placement, talking with Fashanu, talking with some of the third stringers. That guy, Obina Eze, who was getting beat every play by Tack McKinley. Like, they're working on stuff with those guys who probably aren't even making the roster. So just having that kind of leadership there, I think is huge. It's not just coming from Rodgers now. You got leaders on the O-line. Garrett Wilson's becoming a leader.
Yep.
Like, slowly but surely, you see this thing kind of coming together.
Well, and that's when, like, I was talking to somebody over the weekend. It's like, oh, your expectations for the Jets. I'm like, win the AFC East. Oh, bro, you're just being a homer. No, I'm not. Like, they have legitimate talent on both sides of the ball. And it's not like talent we're trying to make up. Like, Tyron Smith, Hall of Famer. AVT, we'll talk about it next. But, like, when healthy, Pro Bowler. Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. Like, you can name, like, 12 players that are, like, the top of their position. Like, it's like, they're legit. It's just stay healthy, be coached, don't self-destruct. That's where I'm at with them.
Right? Exactly the same boat, dude. Exactly the same boat.
So you look at the offensive line, Tyron Smith, to me, I think what you mentioned is the most impressive thing. Like, Hall of Fame player. He came to just taking a shot in the Jets because it seemed like really nobody else really wanted him based on the contract offers. He's embraced it, in phenomenal shape, and a leader where Olu is in the best position possible right now. He's on a team that has a winning attitude with a Hall of Fame quarterback and a great player in front of him that's teaching him every aspect of the game. Like, how do you beat that for Olu right now?
Perfect situation to walk into. I guess the only complaint could be, because we didn't talk during the draft, but number 10 overall pick. Do you go pass catcher? Do you go O-line? Obviously, for a win now team, looking at the state of the wide receivers, we know that a pick at 10, being a pass catcher, whether it's tight end, wide receiver, that guy would be on the field, would have an impact. But at the same time, you got two aging tackles that aren't under contract for next year. And yeah, it's a perfect situation for Fashanu to walk into. He's not expected to play this year. Gets to learn from two veterans, a Hall of Famer, just a great environment for him to walk into and get acclimated. So
yeah, but I consider him excellent depth. Like, in terms of last year when Dwayne Brown went down and Mekhi Becton was doing whatever the hell he's doing, you're like, oh, now you have Olu behind Tyron. I'm like, you know what? I don't mind that. If he has to fill in for 1 game or 2 games or maybe 3, I don't care. Like, I feel at least comfortable with that, right? Like, and he's learning on the fly. He has talent. He's a first-round pick. Like, you feel like, you know what? This is serviceable for right now.
No, absolutely. If he's needed to play, and I'm curious to see if they're even going to try to push the envelope a little bit, maybe give him some work at guard, just to have some extra insurance there. If you need to move Schweitzer to center, if we're still having some issues with snaps in another week or 2. But yeah, it seems like he's ready to go. He's ready to play. Obviously, you don't take a guy like that at pick 10 if you don't think he's ready to play. Yep. But yeah, I mean, especially pass protection wise, his feet, the way he moves, he's athletic, looks good.
All right, I learned yesterday that everyone's pronouncing Taylor's first name wrong. It's not Tayrod, it's Tyrod. He doesn't correct anyone when they call him Tyrod. Yeah, I heard Evan Robertson, what's his face, Tiki Barber, go through that all the time. I had to say his name. Yeah, I don't.
Noted.
So now the story of the day today, and it's been a story for the first week of training camp, is Joe Tippmann and the snaps, which is interesting because it's early, first day of pads. Aaron Rodgers behind him. He's getting used to a lot of different things here. So it's like you're not in panic mode, but you're like a little concerned. But you figure Rodgers is probably harping on him now. Like, they're gonna work on this night and day to get it cleaned up. But at the same time, if it continues for another week or so, I'm not opposed to bringing Connor McGovern back and be like, you know what? Let's have an insurance policy in the building just in case. And he can actually help him too. Good center, like, you know what I mean? Like, he kind of work together. But I wouldn't mind like a little backup plan here.
I think before they did that, though, they would probably give a look at Schweitzer and see how he does there. But yeah, still a little early to panic. But yeah, I noticed on some of the clips that I was posting, even the one touchdown, I think, to Allen Lazard in the red zone, it was a high snap that Rodgers had to kind of save a little bit. You try not to panic. It's still very early on, but these are some issues that we did see a little bit last year. And, first week, we've seen it quite a few times already. So hopefully it gets cleaned up pretty quick.
Well, and dude, it's becoming an issue when Salah mentions it in the press conference. He's like, yeah, it's been happening for it's not just today. It's been going on for a couple of days now. So it's like, all right. But again, it's his second year. He's learning Rodgers, the cadence, the offense, and he's got friggin' Quentin Williams sitting in front of him too. It's not making it easy either. So then you go from there. AVT is back, which is great news. He's on a pitch count. I guess they're saying right now he'll get limited reps, but that's great. I guess the hope is that Morgan Moses is back this week, right?
That's what they're saying. Yeah, he should be ready. He's still doing individual drills, but he hasn't done any team drills yet. I believe that's supposed to happen this week.
So if this would be nice to have all 5 guys practicing together. That's the first, like last year, I think they didn't do that to the last week of preseason or not even.
Yeah, with Dwayne Brown, yeah.
So it'd be nice. So like, what's your overall thoughts? First week of training camp, look at the offense. Do you see a lot of potential? You feel more confident than last year?
I mean, this is kind of the way the first week of training camp goes. Usually the defense is always a few steps ahead. A lot of new pieces also coming in on the offensive side of the ball. I kind of feel like in a couple of weeks, we could be talking about the offense being the strength of the New York Jets. Knock on wood, like never thought I'd be saying that in a million years, but it feels like the offense, especially with this offensive line, if they're healthy, we know what Breece Hall could do. The connection with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, I think that's going to be dynamic this year. I really think the offense could be the strength of this team because I had some legitimate questions about the D-line and some moving pieces on the defense. So
now, speaking of D-line, I can't wait to hear your take on this because I think we may differ on this one.
Yeah.
There is a certain player that the Jets traded for that is still not in camp, and I'm shocked that Haason Reddick is not. This deal is not done yet. He's holding out. The fines are just skyrocketing, which is remarkable at this point. Are you surprised we're here right now? Like,
no,
are you just?
I'm not surprised. No.
Not surprised?
No.
Why?
I kind of expected it. I mean, once you wasn't there at minicamp, clearly there was an issue.
Right.
And clearly, I don't think the Jets are in position. Douglas has talked about their financials. They're not in position to really rework his contract or give him a long-term deal. You have guys right now that have 1 year left on their contract, like Conklin, like DJ Reed especially, who have outperformed their contracts. They're in camp. They're not bitching about it. They're showing up. They've earned the extension. They haven't gotten it. So if they could be here, Haason Reddick, who has never put on a Jets uniform, who the fuck is he? And you have young guys right now on 1 or 2 year deals left. Sauce, Garrett Wilson. We know what kind of contracts they're going to be looking at.
Michael
You only
Carter
have so much
second.
money that you could throw around. Exactly. Michael Carter, ABT. You got a lot of guys that you got to pay. He's going to be turning 30 years old. The idea that he's going to get a 3 or 4 year contract at $25 million per, I don't think is realistic coming from the Jets. And I think part of the reason that they got him was that it's a nice 1 year bridge. You get a year to evaluate Will McDonald. If he takes the same kind of leap that Jermaine Johnson did, it's a seamless transition. Where I'm probably going to agree with you is once the report came out that he turned down whatever the Jets offer was to rework this year, that's where if you're Joe Douglas, that's got to raise eyebrows. You already know the guy's disgruntled with his deal. You say, no, until we have something figured out, at least for this year, that guarantees you're going to be here, like we're not finalizing this trade. And that's where I think he's screwed up. Other than that, though, it's hard to believe that he pulls off this deal without some kind of handshake agreement that at least they were going to talk through it while he's at minicamp, while he's at training camp. And whatever changed the leverage, whether it was the JFM trade or other guys getting paid, something changed, and then he didn't show up. And so if he went back on his word, I don't blame Joe Douglas for kind of standing firm and be like, no, we're not renegotiating. You said you were going to be here until you're in the building. I'm not talking contract with you.
Yeah. See, I don't believe the Jets side of the story at all. I think when you before the trade, if you make him an offer, because the funny thing is the first story was he agreed to play on his current contract with the Jets this year. They're going to trade for him, come here, and he'll be fine with that. There is no living way in fucking hell if he's in Philadelphia on a championship team in his hometown where he loves as an Eagle fan, he's willing to leave there and come here and play in the same deal. He's unhappy there. He's unhappy here. There's no guaranteed money. If I don't have guaranteed money, I'm not going on your field. Plain and simple. I don't blame him for that. So then this story changes because the Jets had to leak their stories because that's what they do. And then it's like, oh, no, we made him an offer. He refused it. To your point, if I'm Joe Douglas, all right, man, listen, we want to trade for you. We can work some things out. Here's our offer. Nope, I don't want that. That's my red flag. All right, you clearly want $25 million a year. We can't afford that for you. So now, you know what? This deal can't happen unless or we say, we'll give you $20 million guaranteed this year, and then we can work on next year. But there's got to be something. I just don't buy the story that he was cool coming here and be like, what? Just show up and we'll work on it because there's no guaranteed money, dude. He could walk and fall in the goddamn parking lot in Florham Park, and then what?
So I knocked the Jets and I knocked Joe Douglas for a lot of things, but even it's hard to figure out how he would pull off this trade without some kind of assurance that the guy was going to be there for minicamp and training.
They had to guarantee him some money. Talked it out. You got to guarantee him money. And the thing is, what? And the thing is, like, what I don't agree with. If I was Reddick, you know what I would have did? I would have shut up for camp. I would have showed day one. I'm here, coach. I'm here, but I have a headache, man. I can't practice today, but I can meet the media though. Media wants to ask me questions. I can answer any question and become a distract. So you're not getting fined, and then you can share your side of the story.
Well, that's what I fear is going to happen in another week or two.
100%.
As the fines start racking up, once we start getting into the millions, I think he's up to like $700K now. Yep. Once we start getting over $1 million, then it's going to be like, all right, I'll show up, but I'm going to do the minimum. If I have a bruise, I'll be out for a couple weeks. I'll make sure I'm healthy. I'm not going to jeopardize my long-term health or my long-term future or my contract next year. That's what you really worry about.
Yeah, because it's easy, dude. Back, hamstring, all little things. Oh, I think I tweaked something. Can't do this. Just you show up, but you just can't practice. And then it's like even worse. And it's like you don't want to see get this far. The answer is guarantee him money, figure it out. This year, next year. Rodgers has a 2-year window. Get him in a 2-year window. But he's at a point in his career where he's earned that last big payday. He's earned it. Statistically, he earned it. So now he wants it. And it's like the Jets had to know that. At 29 years old, he's not going to take a 1-year deal, 1-year flyer to prove himself again when he's already racked the Pro Bowl stats the last 3 years.
Pro Bowl stats that he put up with Philly.
But if he was a free agent this year, he probably would have gotten 20-something million per year.
I completely agree with you. But again, are the Jets in that position where they can reward him for what he did with another team when we have our own guys that we got to take care of still?
But that's the problem they wanted to inherit. That was their plan. That's the problem.
Unless it was told to them differently, which again, I kind of feel it's still. Listen, I knocked Joe Douglas for a lot. Is he really that dumb to just inherit this problem for a conditional third that could become a second-round pick if he actually played? Like, was he really willing to give that up for a guy that's not happy that he was going to have to completely tear up his contract? Like, they had to have felt they were close on something, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. It's just something seems off. And to me, it's like without any guaranteed money on the table, I'm not showing up either. Like, forget that. I would show up. I just wouldn't practice. I'd be like, I'm here. But you want me in the building? I'm here. I'm not practicing. Show me my guaranteed money. Show me this contract. Show me the due deal. Like now, it's just like I'm okay with it now. This holdout. Once you get to the joint practices, I'm gonna start getting nervous because then it's like you only have so many padded practices. You only have so much time to learn your teammates, learn the defensive calls, and get in football shape too, which is important. Like you could, dude, you could be in gym shape.
Yeah, we remember. Yeah.
But you could be in gym shape, become football shape. These guys would be sucking wind, puking, step slow. And then the injuries creep in too, which you don't want either. So you don't want to have it's like, what's your point of panic? Like, when do you get nervous with him?
I'm honestly already pretty nervous. I'm going to be completely honest. Yeah. Because I still don't think he's going to get the long-term extension that he's looking for. Nope. And then like we were talking about, it's going to become a player that's there, but mentally could be checked out.
And and then you figure he's playing for a new contract. He's playing for money, but it depends on what his mindset is. He could feel screwed over right now. Or like I'm curious to see his side because he kept saying like, don't believe everything you read. So there's something more out there. But you figure at some point he's got to talk to Josina Anderson and be like, you know what? Here's my side of the story now. Get some leverage back on his side with the fans because the fans hate him now.
And even the reports going back to the offseason about him chasing sacks, like that could be another thing you worry about, right? If he doesn't have his long-term contract, and you're sitting there in November, December, and he's only got 6 sacks, well, I can either stay in my lane here and make sure the quarterback stays in the pocket, or I can abandon my assignment and try to go get him. Like, you wonder if he starts playing outside the defense and just doing stupid shit.
Yeah, exactly. Playing for himself, not the team. And it's like he's such a crucial part to this team, in my opinion, because you have Jermaine Johnson, everybody loves. Now, Will McDonald is interesting because Saleh talked about something today. And when Connor Hughes gets a hold of a topic and gets on something, it makes you start wondering about it because that means he's got this information from somewhere. So Will McDonald, they asked him about his weight. And we remember last offseason, I remember clearly, Saleh's like, we love the player, but he's got to put on size because he has to be able to overpower players. Like you can be speedy and shifting, all this stuff, but at some point, you got to stand in front of somebody and just power them over. So they ask him, what's his weight now? Well, he's probably the same weight as last year, but he's a little bit bigger. And then Saleh started to pivot to like, well, what the hell's the guy? Steph Curry. Steph Curry's a 3-point shooter. So if you're a 3-point shooter, he doesn't play in the post. So maybe he's just going to be our pass rusher. And I'm like,
sounds like they had a guy like that.
Yeah. So now the McDonald thing is interesting, man, where Reddick being out is giving a lot more opportunities, which is great. But is he taking advantage of it? And is he showing what he can do? Or is he still a one-trick pony that could be decided? When you're a rookie in the NFL, nobody sees what you can do. Now teams have had an entire offseason to evaluate your game. Can he make changes to become the next, like the Jermaine Johnson step up?
I mean, the real test is obviously going to be now with the pads on, but, going back to the 2 practices that I watched, there's a clear difference when you watch him versus Jermaine Johnson, just in terms of like the tools that they have in the toolkit. Will McDonald's 80% of the time, probably you're seeing the spin move, and that's pretty much all he has. And then Jermaine Johnson, he could go spin move. We've seen him a few times do the bull rush on Tyron Smith, push him right back into the quarterback's lap. We've seen him duck the shoulder, get around him. So it just seems like Jermaine Johnson's got an array of pass rushing moves that he can go to, whereas Will McDonald is still kind of that speed guy off the edge with the spin move, and then what?
And the thing is, when Jermaine Johnson came back his second year, everybody talked about how he reshaped his body. He came back bigger. Like you could see like the difference in him.
Even this year, you could see he's. Yeah.
But that was like he put like a commitment to his offseason program. Like I'm going to become like a dynamic, like he calls himself like a predator. Where McDonald, it seemed like he didn't do that. He may be in better shape, but he didn't give you that same thing. Now it could work in his favor because when Clemens put on size, I thought Clemens wasn't as good when he put on the extra weight. So maybe they're trying to find a middle. But that is my concern. Where it's like, all right, you had the whole Reddick thing, whatever. If McDonald's here, I'm like, and you had Huff in the building, where it's like, oh, like it's just you don't want to dwell on it. Right?
I mean, that's where it all started, though. I mean, 2 years ago, they did the JFM extension early, and I think they overpaid there. Then they got cold feet doing it with Huff. So then they invested the draft pick in McDonald. Now they're trying to justify the draft pick, and it's just this domino effect that wouldn't have happened if they would have just signed Huff 2 years ago.
Yeah, so McDonald's something to keep an eye on, especially like, again, joint practices, preseason. Reddick, who knows? Now, the surprise that you've been talking about, everybody's been talking about, is Tack McKinley, who former first-round pick, has all the ability in the world, dude, just had injuries and bad luck and scheme fits and all this other stuff. And he looks so freaking explosive off the edge where it's like, again, not in pads. I don't know what happened today with him, but like he looks like he's like a step ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, his first step off the snap. I mean, he's beating guys left and right. The problem is it's mostly the third stringers, Obina Eze, and who's the other guy? Austin Deckles. That seems like the two guys, 68 and 70, that he beat on almost every one of the 5 sacks that I posted. But yeah, I mean, definitely deserving, I think, of an opportunity to at least get some reps against Fashanu, Carter Warren, Max Mitchell, guys like that. But yeah, he certainly looks the part, and clearly there's a need right now without Reddick in the building.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's like you look at like it's an opportunity. Take advantage of it. You never know what could happen. And then, unfortunately, injuries are always going to happen. So next man up, if he's showing he can make the roster, I mean, you have to Tanzel Smart and Solomon Thomas, a lot of guys in there, but he could very well be in the mix.
I'd love to see him and even Will McDonald get a few more reps on the outside with the ones, because right now they've been using Michael Clemens out there, which I don't really understand.
Yeah, me neither.
He's not going to be on your starting defensive line, I don't think, unless this is an opportunity for him just to see how he does against better talent. Maybe he's on the roster bubble altogether. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of a make or break year for Clemens, isn't it? He's got to at least prove that he can be more than a special teams guy. He's got to be a contributor, no?
I think so. I think they're trying to mold him into like the new JFM. He can play inside, he can play outside. I don't know if he's built like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Are there any other guys on the defensive line that have kind of stuck out?
Kinlaw looks pretty good. A lot bigger than I thought. I know they were talking today. He added like 35 pounds of muscle, but yeah, he looks pretty good. Who is the one guy? Eric Watts. You can see the wingspan on him. He looks pretty athletic. Jalen Holmes, you notice his speed coming off.
I love Jalen Holmes.
Yeah, he was good last year.
But now the Kinlaw thing. Did you see the interview that he did with the Jets today, or with the media?
I heard he got emotional. I didn't listen to it though. Like just talking about his story, his upbringing. Yeah.
He's like, he's been through a lot. He's like, I've been through a lot. And he's like, I never gave up on myself. He's like, I just never gave up. And he got a little choked up. And I'm like, how do you not root for a guy like that? Was in front of the New York media, was opening up and saying, listen, like, I love being here. I'm really embracing this opportunity. Like, I appreciate this opportunity to be on this crash, just being here today. It was like, dude. And you see the size of him, dude. He's like, he's a beast.
I was a little nervous when they signed him. I'm like, 1 year, $7 million based on what? But so far, he looks good. Really, what he looks good.
That's because their fax machine was broken. They blew it with Quentin Jefferson.
They're replacing what? It was like 20 and a half sacks, right? Between Huff, Jefferson, and JFM. So
yeah, we got Woods, Jefferson, Huff. Oh my god.
And Whitehead, the secondary. You want to throw that in there too?
Now, we had the defensive line, the linebackers. Nobody's really talking about them because everybody talks about sacks and interceptions. Yeah. You got Mosley, Quincy. I guess Jamie and Sherwood still flying around doing good things.
Yeah, he was the one that had the deflection on the one ball that Rodgers threw over the middle, and then him and Garrett Wilson talked it out afterwards. Otherwise, it's very hard to evaluate the linebackers, like especially with the running plays. It seems like more often than not they've been blowing plays up, but obviously they're holding up. There's no tackling, so kind of hard to evaluate them. Chasserat looks pretty good though. He's moving around pretty well.
Sal loves him, man. That's like their speed guy. But he's always hurt though, isn't that the thing with him?
Yeah.
So you got linebackers now. The corners, it's fun because you have really good receivers and really good corners. So you have like Garrett versus Sauce, which is like, the best against the best, like the whole iron sharpens iron thing. But even
I haven't seen that all too much, unfortunately. I don't understand it. Even Revis commented on our page, like, why aren't we seeing Sauce on Garrett Wilson? I don't get it. The only time he followed him, and shout out to Kyle for picking this up, it seems like Sauce is kind of locked in on the left side of the defense. There was like one or two plays where Garrett Wilson was on the outside and then he kind of slid to the slot. Sauce would follow him there. But if he was lined up on the other side, they just left it alone and DJ Reed stayed on him. So don't really understand that.
Maybe they're not showing a lot early on in camp. They're just trying to change
They
things
know
up.
I'm watching, that's why.
Now, the one player, Michael Carter second, I'll give you a hot take. They should extend him now. Like you have a young corner that's in your system that's flourishing and getting better every year, similar to the way Bryce Huff was in this defense. He's becoming very good at a crucial position in the NFL. Get a deal done with him now. Like you have money. Like CJ Mosley took a pay cut. Guys took pay cuts. The Jets have cap space, and you could be creative with cap space. If you want to find ways to keep money and create other moves, to me, you get them done now, dude. Because if he has a monster year this year, and say he makes the Pro Bowl this year, do you know what his price tag is going to be? It's going to be ridiculous.
Well, I was going to say, even the highest paid slot corner right now is what, like Kenny Moore, and he's making like 11, 12 million a year. Yep. So I don't think it's going to be anything crazy that he gets. You're probably looking at like a 4-year contract, in excess of $80 million. But yeah, it's always better to do the deals early rather than late because the price only goes up. The next guy always resets the market. So,
especially if you say, you know what, we're not going to franchise you, you can test the market and do whatever else, and then because you have DJ Reed, you have him, so it's like you don't be in a world where you could lose DJ Reed and Michael Carter second, right? Because you're not going to pay both of them and pay Sauce
and Eccles too. This is last year of Eccles' contract also. And
Sauce is going to get a record deal. So I'd get Carter done now, man. I'd find a way to lock him up and keep him keep some of your young core together. I mean, wouldn't that make the most sense?
I think so.
It means they won't do it.
Yeah. So he's also of the same mindset where he just wants to hit the market, get teams in a bidding war.
Yeah, and then you go to the safety position. How does Chuck Clark look, dude? Because we didn't really see him at all last year, so we don't even know what he is.
Oh, he's moving well. He had the interception today. Wish I was there to see that. But yeah, I mean, the thing you want to see with him is obviously in pads making some hits because that's kind of his game. Yep. I would assume he's probably going to be ahead of Ashton Davis to start, being the veteran. But
he's got to be.
I think both guys are going to see a lot of playing time.
So overall, the defense early on, it's just you want to see guys on the field. You want to see Reddick, see what he can do, right? And just kind of see where they go from there. But I think the one concern everybody wants to see is the run defense and how that is because you lost your run stoppers from last year. 2 of them, Woods and JFM. You want to see what's that?
Lucky photo.
Let's go. I'm dead. That's just you want to see it. That's I think the one concern. But you figure because teams are going to attack them with the run, they're not going to try to pass against them because of pass rush. So if they can stop the run, make a team one-dimensional, they'll have some success.
Well, that's where you hope your offense is actually putting up points, and teams are forced to throw the ball a little bit more, and then you can have Will McDonald do his thing, and it all falls together.
Well, that's what's his face was saying. Brian Baldinger. He's like, imagine this defense playing with a lead for once. Because last year they had to play perfect all the time. It was you couldn't give up 10 points or you lost the game. So it was like
that's kind of why I feel like the offense might be the strength. The defense is going to see some things this year that they probably haven't seen the last 2 years. Just as far as the opposing game plan changing a little bit and attacking them a little differently.
The offense is the one that gets you though. It's just like I just want to see Rodgers week 1 for more than 4 plays. I just want to see the offense run because we criticize the Jets right now have a lot of excuses, and the excuse was Zach Wilson. That was the excuse. Oh, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. And I'm like, all right, I don't necessarily believe that, but now it's like you just want to see this offense because this team has too much talent, dude. Like the expectation is win the AFC East, right? Is that where you're at? Like that's minimum.
When you haven't made the playoffs in 13 years, I think you have to at least start with expectation has to be making the playoffs. The best chance to go on a championship run, of course, is winning the division, having the home playoff game. You make your life 10 times easier. But when you haven't made the playoffs in 13 years, I think that has to be the first step. You have to make the playoffs. You have to find a way to get in. And then once you're in, then if it's one and done, that's probably where you're talking about, all right, Salah's out. You're bringing in a new coaching staff, but at least you can keep the core together. And at least maybe you have some faith that the GM that put it together actually put together a talented roster. If you don't make the playoffs, that's where the whole shit blows up. And you're talking complete rebuild, guys that probably are asking for trades, guys that want out. So the minimum bar has to be you have to make the playoffs because otherwise that's where I think everything completely blows up.
Yeah, see, I'm greedy. I want to win the AFC. I want like 11 wins. Like this team has too much talent. And they have too much talent and they have like in theory, an easier schedule in the beginning of the year where they can stop while they're learning their offense and getting in chemistry. They can beat bad, like average teams, and then when they're flying high at full speed, they face better teams, and then they just should be already there. So
the schedule itself doesn't worry me at all. I just worry about the 3 games in 11 days, and then the 3 games in 12 days, both being before the bye week.
That's where like. like good special teams, good defense, and Rodgers gives me like you'll find a way. But to me, it's just like win the AFC East. Like that's it. Like to make the playoffs and then lose. Like the question then is, do you fire Saleh and Douglas or just Saleh? Because then it's like, are they tied together?
That's where if you make the playoffs and then you're one, I think that would just be Saleh going. I think that would at least show that you have enough talent. Guys would probably feel like, hey, we're just some leadership away from really taking that next step. We know we could get there. We need somebody to coach it up right.
Now, are you, not to be negative, but we'll just give you a what if this team starts off slow, like say a 1-4, 2-5 kind of deal, do you make the change if Saleh goes and make Ulbrich the coach?
You might have to.
You may have to. Because are you you look at this as a 2-year window at Rodgers, right?
Yeah, the roster's too good. Yeah.
It's a 2-year window at Rodgers this year, next year. Because I think he said on the last interview he wants to have 2 years with the Jets, and last year doesn't really count. So to me, it's like you got to find every way possible to maximize this roster. So that means you got to fire the coach 6 weeks in. I don't really care. Fuck it. Who gives a shit at that point? Because it's like let Rodgers run the offense, Ulbrich runs the team, and you see maybe something changes.
My worry though is that if they did fire Saleh, that it would end up going to Hackett before it went to Ulbrich.
Oh Christ, could you imagine?
Which would make absolutely no sense. But yeah, that would be my worry.
That would be a disaster.
I know it would, but that's just how the Jets think. I feel like. Oh,
so
Rodgers, it'll be a seamless transition.
So what's your seal? What's the least amount of wins you'd be satisfied with?
10.
All right, that's fair enough. I'm with that. I'm in that boat. I'm like pushing 11, but I think at least 10, or I'm just disappointed.
You can't be a 9-8 or 8-9. Nah, at least 10, minimum 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think they have so much talent. Early on, it's just get Rodgers in the flow. You work with the offense, but they have too much talent to suck. Now you used to always say the process is too good to fail.
Yeah.
Well, now it's like they have too much talent to fail. I actually believe that now, finally.
That's exactly this. And that's everybody that I talk with. Everybody loves the talent. We're getting all these rankings, number 1 D-line, number 1 linebackers, number 1 secondary, top 2 running back, a top 5, top 10 receiver. There's nothing else that they need talent-wise to be able to make the playoffs.
I mean, you need Mike Williams back as soon as possible. You need things like just the health. Williams back on the field, Reddick in the building. But it's like they have all the pieces in place. Now it's just a matter of putting it together, and no excuses. I don't want to hear any excuses at all. You have this entire offseason to get ready for the 49ers. 49ers are a great team. Don't go there and get your ass kicked. You got to find a way to win the game.
That's still going to be a tough way to open, though.
Yeah.
That's clearly the toughest game on the schedule.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. But then they're in the same boat. First game back, and you never know. And I don't know.
Yeah, catching them early. It's better to catch them early than late, right? Really getting the rhythm.
You never know, especially with Ayuk holding out. I let Ayuk hold out till week 3 or some shit. Even better. All right, prime time. We have. Do you want a quality caller, or do you want chaos to start the show?
I can't even see who's in the.
Oh, you can?
Not logged in.
What the hell? They got it. That's a surprise.
Let's go quality to start it out.
All right. What's up, Jack?
What's up, Tyson? Kevin, how are you? Happy summer.
Happy summer.
It's been a long time. A lot has changed. I have a 9-month-old son now. They're trying to assassinate presidents, and we've got resignations coming down the pike, and we've got training camp started. So it's great to see you guys. Couple points here on the Haason Reddick stuff. Number one, it was never a great idea to trade for a guy who was coming in with a contract dispute, especially when it's coming from an organization like Philly. But I don't really have any reason to panic about Reddick not being in camp, and a couple of reasons why that you guys didn't touch on. Number one, in order for him, from the Jets' perspective, the third rounder they traded for him turns into a second if he plays 65% of his snaps and he has 10 sacks. So I don't think there's any chance that he's seeing more than 65% of the snaps. I don't even know that Quinnen Williams sees 65% of the snaps. Yeah, nope. If Quinnen doesn't see it, Haason Reddick's not going to see it. That's number one. So, but number two is he has to show up. This is a situation where in order for him to become a free agent, I believe he's got to show up by week whatever it is, week 8 or something.
Yep.
So he's going to be showing up for the season at some point. But number two, if he wants to get paid the money he thinks he's entitled to, which is apparently $25 million a year, he's got to perform. He's got to come in and he's got to have 12 sacks in order for someone to want to pay a 31-year-old in free agency. So the idea that he's going to come in and, have migraines, do the old Percy Harvin, but underperform. I think he's going to come in motivated when he's actually ready to show up.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I think he'll do that once he gets his guaranteed money. Like my point was he'll act like that until you give him guaranteed money. When he goes on the field, he gets hurt, he's getting paid.
But under what scenario was this next season not guaranteed for him? Like the Jets aren't cutting him under any circumstances. So
yeah, he's not getting paid till the game start though. So why would he go take a risk of getting hurt in training camp and not getting paid?
But even if he gets, you're saying pay for a future year, an extra year tacked on or something?
No, I'm saying like right now he has no guaranteed money on his contract whatsoever.
Yeah,
so
but who cares? If he gets injured tomorrow, he still gets paid his full salary.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He doesn't get paid till the game start.
No, if he gets injured,
you get paid by the game.
No, you get paid your entire salary if you're on the roster, even if you get injured. It doesn't. The only way no. If he's on the roster, the 53, he's getting, and he gets injured, he's entitled to. Now he might not get his incentive money if there's incentive money in there, but he's still due his salary regardless of whether he's injured.
I'm pretty sure the only way he wouldn't get paid is if he got cut, right?
If he got cut, correct.
Yeah.
But he's not getting cut. And even if he gets injured, this next year is guaranteed. So I think the agreement or handshake agreement that they had was they were going to tack on maybe an extra $1 million or $2 million for this year in a form of a bonus or a guarantee. But, they obviously haven't been able to come to an agreement. I'm just not sure, what leverage he thinks he has, because he effectively has none. He's got to go out and perform with the Jets, or he's not going to get the money he thinks he's entitled to.
Well, yeah, but he can also just sit and wait and show him like the last week of preseason, like the last week of training camp. Like I'm here now, and then they just show up for week one.
Right, and I mean, even if he does that, I don't know. The guy's been in the league for what, 8 years? He's been one of the most productive pass rushers.
But don't you find it weird that it's gotten to this point? Like before you make this trade, shouldn't this all be ironed out already? Like Kevin kind of thinks that he agreed to something, he welched on it, or do you think that maybe the Jets kind of screwed up? Like
I don't even know if Joe Douglas knew he had an expiring contract, for all I know. Joe Douglas is in La La Land sometimes. I mean, who the hell knows?
Yeah, it's
a lot of issues, but even this, I mean, you knew he was unhappy with his contract, so to give up significant draft pick compensation without any assurances that he'd be there mini camp, training camp while they negotiated it out, I just find that very, very strange, even for him, even for this organization. That seems very, very strange.
It's on par with the Jets. I will say, Will McDonald, can someone explain to me? I mean, a couple of things here. The Jets drafted him as a 24-year-old, okay? So, like, I'm not saying you're fully developed at 24. Obviously, you still have a lot of growing to do. But, like, you were looking at the guy who was like 230 pounds soaking wet when they drafted him at 24 years old. Like, you expected him to put on 20 pounds of muscle. I mean, like, I know players do it, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. I mean, the best hope he has is to be like a Jason Taylor type, Gumby 240-pounder who can survive. No, I mean, look, he had 140 sacks, but there's few of those guys who could do it. I don't know that there's reason to be panicked here, but how is an NFL athlete not able to pack on 10 pounds of muscle in an offseason? I could pack on 10 pounds of muscle. Give me 6 weeks in the gym. You just eat everything in sight. I just don't understand, with the resources you have, you can't pack on a few pounds of muscle. I mean, it tells me he either doesn't want to do it, is incapable. I can't imagine he's incapable of doing it. Someone's got to explain that to me.
Unless he felt like he would lose some of his speed, his burst, can't play the same speed with additional weight.
Right. So he just doesn't want to do it effectively. If he wanted to do it, he would do it. I don't see how anyone isn't capable of doing it. So maybe he just doesn't want to.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just it's when Saleh starts saying things like that, you're like, all right, this is a precursor to something else. Like he's already giving us, like he's letting us down low. Like it's not gonna be what we expected. Because I think everybody wanted to see that Jermaine Johnson kind of jump with him, and we're probably most likely not going to see that.
Well, it'll be telling if Reddick gets some kind of extra guaranteed money added onto his contract. It'll tell you what they think is going on with Will McDonald in training camp.
What are your thoughts on the whole Tippmann thing with his struggling with the snaps?
I have no concerns at all about it. It's not even August. It's a pretty fundamental, simple exercise. I would chalk this up to being, a week or two into camp, and they'll get it figured out. I don't think there's any. I think that's kind of like typical fodder you read about in July in training camps across the league. I mean, there's all this kind of small stuff is going to happen as they work through it. So I'm not worried about. I'm more worried about, like you guys said, that Nathaniel Hackett and Kevin Carter and all that. I mean, it's also funny that they've neutered Kevin Carter because a guy like Tyron Smith and John Simpson walk into the locker room and it's like, you think you're going to tell those guys they've got to strap it up and go hard week in, week out? I mean, Tyron Smith will he'll retire. What does he care? He's not answering to Kevin Carter. Give me a break. Is that his name? Kevin?
Yeah.
Keith Carter.
Keith Carter.
Keith Carter. There you go.
Kevin Carter played with the Titans, I think, right?
That's how irrelevant Keith Carter is. Okay. I don't need to know that guy's name. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, seems like same things we're hearing this year, kind of mimicking last year. So we'll see how long we get Aaron Rodgers for this year, and hopefully he'll survive more than 4 snaps.
So, Kevin, can you be as calm as Jack is right now?
I'm always calm. I'm calm, relaxed. Yeah,
I will say, Devontae Adams, what are you willing to chalk up for Devontae?
Depends on the contract. Is he willing to restructure? Because at $36 million each of the next 2 years, I mean, like you can't be giving up like first round picks while inheriting that kind of contract. If he's willing to renegotiate, I'd probably do 2 2s, like back-to-back years. I'd be willing to do that.
You gotta pay Garrett too coming up. So it's like you got a lot of money they got to throw out there. No, I mean, I'm dude. This is a win now year, dude. I'll sell my soul for anything. I don't care. Whatever you just bring in. The more talent, the merrier. I'm cool with it. I don't even care anymore.
I'm with you. I'm with you. It's like we're all getting fired anyway. Who gives a shit? Remember I don't know if you guys have been watching the Giants Hard Knocks, but the GM's kid was basically telling his dad to go draft Jaden Daniels, and basically told him, like, you get this job once and just go draft Jaden Daniels. It makes you think of how simple this actually is. It's like we're all the ship is sinking. If this season goes under, might as well just give up what you got for Devontae, and we'll tear it all down in 2 years if we have to. It's where we live is in the gutter, tearing it down. We're experts at the rebuild. Okay,
it's a 2-year window, man. You got 2 years to make it work. So 2 years or whatever, and then Rodgers is gone. We're gonna be rebuilding, new coach, new quarterback, and that's it. Who cares?
Yeah. Yep. All right, I'll let other callers get in here. Appreciate it, Tyson, Kevin. Look forward to talking to you this season, and let's go Jets.
Have a good night, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good night.
I gotta look up that contract thing though, because I don't think that's true.
Well, if he gets hurt in training camp, like they can't just cut him and then get rid of his money.
The money's not his 14.2 is not guaranteed. It's got to be guaranteed and non-guaranteed money. And I thought they get paid.
Well, yeah, that's if he were to get cut. I think like before the season, then yeah, that money's not guaranteed. If he gets injured, though, I think it becomes guaranteed.
Because I thought the paydays were by the game check. You get paid by the game. That's when they make their money.
Yeah, but for injury though,
where's Afram at? Isn't Afram our fucking contract guy? What do we answer these questions for? We got a finance guy on the show. What the hell are we doing here?
I haven't talked to Afram in a minute.
Sneakers and boots. How you doing, man? What's up, everybody? Now we have a chaotic caller, but I don't see him in the picture though, so I'm not sure. There's a pretty good chance this isn't going to end well. But I mean, if we're gonna go back big, go big, or go home, right? So there's nothing there.
Wait, where is he?
I don't know. I see a light. Is that the moon we're looking at? Is that the sun? What are we looking at here?
No idea what we're looking at.
This may be his best call. What do you think?
Did he fall asleep?
No, he fell asleep on Jake's show twice.
Oh.
He brought him on. He was full snore, dude. Just full snoring.
Setting up for the car?
He's looking for Haason Reddick.
Yeah, Haason Reddick impersonation.
And there's no mentions of rum right now. I mean, is this what we're doing right now?
Pretty relaxing.
We can all bet. Let's bet what V-Man's doing right now. And then he's going to come back and be like, you guys didn't bring me on, you bastards. So you guys want to call in? You can call in.
Some things don't change on here.
I'm surprised Random Man hasn't called in yet. All right, I guess we'll give him a chance to come back on. Should we do that?
I guess. We have to.
Let's see. I'll message you, Armand. Most likely, I have to make sure I can get at work on time, but I will definitely message you. Yeah, he went to Puerto Rico. Come on and call in. We got to talk about it. So, Primetime, any overall thoughts on training camp or anything you saw with the Jets that you're happy about, concerned about?
happy at how smooth everything went. Like there's always issues like with shuttles and, you know, getting fans to like the actual facility on time. Like everything ran smooth. They sent out the alerts, you know, for the parking in advance, like because they changed it up this year. So the parking was in the Fairleigh Dickinson lot. They opened that pretty early. Everyone was in line. The shuttles were waiting and ready to go. They got us in early, so it was good.
Sprinklers didn't hit you?
No sprinklers at all. They still got the tents. The one thing that's kind of weird though, so by the end zone on the main field, you know how there's always fans like lined up everywhere?
Yeah.
They added seats back there, which I thought was nice. But then when you look at it, there's basically like one row of seating. So like they installed this giant canopy with one row, and then there's just like people standing behind them, and then people standing in the far end zone. So they took away like a lot of the decent sight lines for people that couldn't get seats.
Interesting.
That's like I guess my only complaint.
Did they add the water back to the bleachers where the water was shooting out the top, or is it still in the front? Remember they had little.
I didn't notice any sprinklers going off this year. Yeah,
they couldn't figure out. Like they took them away.
They didn't pay the water bill this year. I guess I don't know.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! And then for everybody, if you saw the first day of training camp, Mr. Celebrity here was in the video, the Jets official video.
Yeah, I was surprised they included me in that too.
Hey, dude, you're the man of the people now. You're it. You're our Jets insider. You're in the.
They didn't use my other clip though. I gave a shout out to the One Jets drive crew. I'm like, oh, we don't need Hard Knocks here. I thought they were going to use that one. They didn't use it.
They pick and choose.
Yeah.
Big Bird is here, and you know what? Is Oscar the Grouch following you on Instagram yet?
He is. He actually gave me my own post after I followed him back. I was honored. I think you got one too, actually.
Yeah. Let's see. We got here an injury guarantee. An injury guarantee protects a player from being cut due to injury. Does one exist in Reddick's contract? I don't know.
That's the question.
We got good questions here. Kevin should get his credentials back. Kevin provided better coverage than anything I saw on social media for the last week. Seriously, you should apply, dude. You gave better coverage than anybody. It got to the point Connor Hughes is actually using your videos.
I saw that.
But that's your cup.
Well, the problem is though, like when you have credentials, being on the sideline, you actually you can't take video. Like you're kind of limited with what you can report in some aspects. So I almost kind of like being with the fans and just up there being able to take video. Because like when I get the video, also one thing that I love is that I'll be locked in on like Garrett Wilson making a great catch, and I'm scrolling through the comments and I see like, oh, John Simpson, look at him bodying two guys down below. Like I didn't even notice that. So like just putting it out there, like you get to see a lot more. I feel like so.
I still vote for you getting credentials back. I think it'd be great. They'd be like, how the fuck is this guy? Because then they just see, how is he on the sidelines again? How is he back? It's all this shit they've done.
I miss the food more than anything else. In the press room, they would serve us some great food, man. I miss that.
Dude, Jake did. Pat McAfee. Everybody's using his videos, man. It was because on our Twitter or X account, fuck they call it X now. It was everybody, ESPN, Bleacher Report. Like, can we please use your video? And some people just take it and just use it like Duff Climb and just use it and just tag us. But I'm like, dude.
Some people will take every video after like 30 seconds and use it. But,
yeah, some of them. And like, oh no, we thank you guys. No, you don't. You don't. Then they show the video of Primetime as Gase. Yeah, that's one thing. We have a history of, we have things we haven't deleted. So,
I mean, in fairness, we tried to warn them about that. I feel like we were looking out for the team in that aspect.
Let's see what he says. Reddick has to play to get paid. If you got hurt in camp, insurance would kick in. Jets would be saddled with a cap hit of some sort.
Makes sense.
Primetime should request credentials when they ask him to renew his season tickets.
That's a good one there. I'm still mad that I've never gotten a VIP package yet.
How is that possible?
I see all these people at practices that are closed. They have their VIP experience, even like the open practices. Like there's the VIP tent.
You talk to your rep?
I'm gonna send him an email now. It's been 13 years. I've never gotten one VIP package. Never.
How is that
and I've never had enough points to redeem for one either. Like you need like 40,000 points to redeem a VIP training camp package, and like you can go to every single game, attend like 5 practices, and you'll have like 18,000 points in your account. I'm like, what am I gonna do with that?
They want you to buy stuff inside the stadium too. They want you to buy like burgers and donuts.
I don't buy shit.
All right, now here's a loaded question. Now you got to answer that. Be very careful when you answer this question, because I've done this question. I've got myself in a lot of trouble.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Muppet?
Muppet? I think it's got to be Oscar the Grouch now because he follows me, he gives me shout outs. I think it's
Elmo is going to come after you now. Elmo is going to be on a rampage now.
Wait, which Elmo? Hairless Elmo or Old school.
We got a series of
Elmo
elbows.
joined me last week.
I agree with sneakers to boots. You got to revolt, dude. That is unacceptable. Just call your ticket broker and be like, listen, I've had tickets for 13 years with my father. Like, what the fuck? Give me a VIP. It's ridiculous.
Well, I saw today though they weren't even letting people like live tweet that were there. I'm like, jeez.
Padded practice. So they couldn't tweet, but then the reporters were doing the same tweets anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So weird how they do that. See?
All right.
Gotcha.
Sesame Street forgives but does not forget.
Sorry.
Yeah, the Muppets. This is gonna be a roll. So now we go back to our callers, our very valued callers. One of our most unique and interesting ones.
Who's that?
As he reads his
Hello. Did you know that Pipe Fitters Local proudly serves the needs of pipe fitting and HVAC industry in northern New Jersey? Which you can only find in the exclusive 2024 Jets yearbook.
Random man laying the pipe. Good to hear.
What's going on? I wasn't going to call in, but then Tyson summoned me.
I mean, listen, we just want to talk some football here.
Yeah, sure.
We got a Discord server. Don't know what the hell that is, but
what?
We have a Discord server. Primetime. Do you know that?
Yeah, with like 7 members. It's awesome.
You got to get the link in chat at some point, but it doesn't matter. We'll get to it when we get to it.
We got to work on that.
I'll start putting it out there.
What's your random man or whatever man you are tonight?
I'm holding out. Holdout man.
You're a holdout man.
There's no creative title.
What are you holding on? But so what are your thoughts on Reddick?
I kind of talked about it with Primetime the other day. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of I'm more on the pro Jet side of the Reddick is more at fault. I think that he gave his word and that obviously there's no way of knowing for sure, but I'm just not very happy with it. I think that'll probably come back before it gets too far into the whole training camp situation. I mean, the reports were saying he was getting close. At least they were getting closer in the right direction. But you just have to hold out and hopefully,
How do you resolve it though? Do you give him like say 1 year, 20 million guaranteed? Do you give him a 2-year deal with a lot of guaranteed money? Like, how do you fix it?
I think that you can't give him a new contract. You can give him more guaranteed money for this year, but you cannot. It's just ridiculous. You cannot reward that behavior because then you're left with the rest of the mess. Everyone else is going to go to that behavior.
Wait, what behavior? The behavior that you inherited that he was going to do in Philadelphia?
I mean, first of all, the behavior, if it's true, obviously you don't know if him holding out or going back on his word, but then also just the idea of just like, I don't know, the idea of just that's the way of like things work, that if you just kind of stomp your feet and you demand, you hold like the organization hostage almost, that you should be entitled to just a 3-4 million, like new contract. I don't know, 3 or 4 year, whatever million. I mean, at that point in his career.
But if you knew, but if you knew this when you traded for him, that he was unhappy, and there's reports of Philadelphia saying you wanted $25 million a year. That's why they were trading him. They went out and got Bryce Huff, the guy the Jets had already, and they said, you know what? You can go. We can't meet your demands. And that's on a championship team in his hometown. He's from that area.
Yeah, I know. But the whole thing was just the problem is that when you give him, well, first of all, the reports are that, as we've talked about, is Joe Douglas, like, did they have some kind of agreement? Let's assume that they didn't have an agreement and Joe Douglas just got completely taken advantage of, which might shock some of you, might not. I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say? Joe Douglas messed up? Right now it looks like it.
Once he got turned down on the first offer, yes, that's exactly where he messed up. I'm not going to deny that. But I still feel like for him to actually pull the trigger on a trade, there had to have been something talked about. And it seems like there was, about him showing up to minicamp, being there at training camp as they talked about a deal.
I mean,
and if they do give him a deal, if you're DJ Reed, you outperform your contract to the same degree that Haason Reddick did, if not even better. DJ Reed's talked about in all the top 10 cornerback conversations. He's clearly in that ranking. So if you're DJ Reed, like, how are you not pulling? Like, if you're his agent, I'm like, I want some extra money this year also. If you load up Reddick's contract with incentives, give him some extra guarantees. If I'm DJ Reed, I want the same shit now.
Exactly. That's the way it goes. I don't think there's a money one. I'm looking at the reactions again. I'm going down that rabbit hole. Let's see. There isn't a money one. There is like fireworks. We'll go with that. But yeah, exactly. It'll just go down the line. You can't, I don't know. The only thing that I did think about was that earlier Tyson was talking about like how could like Joe Douglas kind of go the vacuum, leave it alone. How could Joe Douglas kind of go down this route and like why would he make this trade that could become a second? And the only thing is just if you're in that mindset that we've been talking about, that it's a win, like you have to win this year. You've one of 2 years. You can't like push it all to the second year. Like you have to treat every year like it's Rodgers' last. Then a third round pick for one of the best kind of rushers who probably will show up. That's not horrible. I mean, like just from his position, he might not even be here next year. Now that falls to Woody Johnson, who, you know, he has to be okay with moving those assets when knowing that his GM's on the hot seat and allowing that to happen. But I mean, yeah, the move itself, you know, if it works out, he comes back tomorrow or the next week, it looks genius, brilliant. Bryce Huff, they're talking about how he can't play every single down, the Eagles. They're saying the Eagles fans are angry about that. They're saying they got taken advantage of or whatever.
Well, that's because Vic Fangio didn't give him like a big vote of confidence. He's like, you know what? We know what we want him to do, but right now he's not doing it. But it's also his first week there learning the defense too. It's like a little bit. He's still a young player on the way up. It's not. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't get too much.
I don't know if it's a fair. Exactly. It's just the whole situation is just such a mess. I was talking about with Primetime the other week. Like, we just got to focus on the offense. That's the main thing. Just the offense was the main problem with this team. Just get it together. Figure out who's playing center, how to communicate snaps, get all that under control. Once we're rolling, the defense will take care of itself. I mean, oh no. We're already in mid-season form. We don't even need training camp. We're here. We're back.
What are the stats? Great. Let's get into the important stuff here. The question from Sneakers to Boots. Yeah. What are the stats going to be for Greg the Leg and Morstead this season?
Greg the Leg, I'm going to say 6 of 7 from beyond 50.
Nice.
6 of 7 from beyond 50. Morstead, what's the record? I don't know the punting records, but I'm going to say like 7 or 8 punts from inside the 10. Maybe inside the 10. I like that. We're back. We're punting. You know what?
Just for the record, real quick, the Jets have to be the only team right now a week into practice whose kickers still haven't kicked the football yet. At least at the open practices.
They kicked today, I think.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
We were talking. I was at practice at prime time. We were talking about, the kickers, they don't warm up. They don't do anything. Then the Lions kicker pretty much just died. He tore everything in his leg. That's why they don't practice.
Right.
Now he's done. Now they got to find a whole new kicker.
They're in a preservation program. In
this economy, they got to find a whole new kicker, a whole new punter. No, I'm just kidding. Just a kicker. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. Our guys are so good. Yeah, we have veterans. Veteran offense, veterans on defense, veteran special teams. Now, punting, we'll save that. But, that was just a quick call in, just a check-in. I'm glad we're all back. We're doing
Is your
great.
Summer going well? You having a good summer?
Yeah. I still haven't gone away, but we'll see. Well, maybe we'll get away at some point.
Okay.
I'm not going to Carolina. I know the Jets.
Make sure you share the Discord server again, because I don't even know what it is, but we'll have it.
I don't know. I shared it.
I'm trying to copy the link right now. It's just like not letting me copy it. I'm trying to do that, and then I'll post it in the chat if I can do that.
We got to get Afram on here, the tech guy.
Yeah, I mean, you created this Discord server. You're the manager of it now.
No, I know. I sent Primetime the link on X, Twitter. He just has to copy it, or just physically copy all the letters and paste it. I don't know. It's fine. We'll figure it out.
I might have figured it out.
We got to get like a technical difficulty screen. Ooh, I'll get that for next time. That'll be good.
Have a good night, man.
You do. See you guys
later, dude.
See you later, man.
All right. So now we had some contract confrontations on the show. So now we have a salary cap guy. We have a contract guy for the show. Perfect. Now he's been off the entire offseason, so he should be well-versed in contracts and answer our contract questions. This is what we pay him for. So we need answers, sir.
I haven't received the dime yet.
It's next to Tyrone's checks. You didn't get Tyrone's checks?
It's probably. He's still waiting to cash them.
Oh, shit.
How are you, gentlemen?
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Just relaxing in this air condition. I'm feeling good. Hello, Armand. Hello, Elmo.
Okay, so let's talk contract here. What's going on with Haason Reddick?
He's not showing up. That's what's showing up. What is contract?
Really?
There's no contract. He's not coming in. He played the Jets, and rightly so. You shouldn't bring someone in without signing a contract, or
So
bring
which
him
side?
in.
Which side of the story do you buy?
have a clause in there. If he doesn't show up, we get back our picks. Simple as that.
So do you
Whether
think
he promised to be there or not, a promise is just his words, unless it's his signatures on there where they can not pay him at all. Or I know they're finding him basically based on the CBA, but the bottom line is, where's he going? Is he going to sit out the whole season at 29?
Nope.
Exactly.
If he thinks he's worth 25 million, is he willing to risk?
Listen, he didn't think he was worth it until Burns got signed by the Giants, but he doesn't realize Burns is also 3 years younger than him. Okay.
But there's reports in Philadelphia that he wanted over $22 million per year prior to the Jets trading for him. That was his known number.
Yeah. A starting point. Probably settle for under that at some point.
But is it like
he wants his last hurrah? Probably.
Yeah, but what's the last hurrah? Is it like 1 year, $20 million with the Jets, fully guaranteed, and then he could get to walk next year, or like how did?
What's he getting this year? 15, right?
Yeah, well, I think like 14.
Just under 15, I think.
Yeah.
Do I guarantee him the 15 and then try to do incentives for the rest? $3 million more in incentives. Give him up to 19.
I mean,
Going up for that?
Huh?
At this point, if we're just going to 15 and 19 with the incentives, that's almost going to just wipe out the fines that he's already included.
they're in a tough spot, dude.
They're in a tough spot. They put themselves in that position, though.
Because it's going to come down to guaranteed money this year and next year.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't look good for either one of them. But mostly, the players see, they'll see it as a business. But they say if this guy gave his word, whatever. I don't know how they're going to look at it. The young guys. But it's a business. But like I said, you don't bring a guy in unless he signs something.
But it's weird because Mosley said he hasn't even talked to him. Like Mosley hasn't talked to him. Salah hasn't talked to him. That's just kind of weird, right?
Yeah, maybe they're avoiding. He's avoiding everybody because he doesn't want to talk right now. But maybe his agents tell him not to talk to anybody. But there's some communication with the agent, so I guess he's leaving it up to the agent's hands at this point. But I don't know what kind of advice the agent's giving him because at 29, you don't have many hurrahs left, and no one's knocking on the door for you right now.
Nope.
So, I mean, you got Tyron Smith. He did a 1 year contract. I mean, he's a lot older too, but yeah, he's
and his contract is what, like $6 million guaranteed?
Yeah. So let's be understand the situation. I mean, yeah, 29 is not old normally, but in football it is.
Yeah, but he's also had what? 2 back-to-back Pro Bowl years as a pass rusher. This is his last big payday. Like this is
he wants to strike it out. None of that came in a Jet uniform though, and you got guys like Rodgers who have sacrificed for the team. Mosley reworked his contract, 2 years, $17 million. Tyron Smith taking less. All these guys that are sacrificing for the team, and in comes Haason Reddick, who has not put on the uniform yet, with all these demands. Like I don't like it. I don't.
Well, his agent knows what the salary cap is.
Yep.
Shouldn't have come to the Jets then. Should have said, okay, let's look for a trade to another team that can pay you the money.
That's it.
So does he want to be on a team that he knows he's going to go into the playoffs and win?
Yep.
Or now he wants both?
But this should have been ironed out before the trade. Like they should have known this before the trade. Like there's no way to get to this point.
Exactly.
Like that whole, I just don't buy. Like, yeah, you know what? I'll play to my current deal. There's no way he fucking said that. There's no way. It's impossible.
No,
he wouldn't do that.
I agree with you. They did offer him some, but I think it was just, we'll give you this, but we want incentives or something like that. Whatever. He said no. He wanted to be, he's in the position thinking that the Jets need him more than he needs the Jets. That because they
both need each other equally.
They do, but it comes down to, you're going to sit out a year. You can't afford to sit out a year.
Yeah.
You can't afford to sit out a year because it just ruins you. You just lost.
Yeah, look at Le'Veon Bell, how he was after he sat out.
Yeah. So
what are your thoughts on Tippmann and the snaps? You concerned or no?
not yet. No any concern. Let's see how the whole season goes by. It's they were doing good in the first half, but also the defense now is playing more reps. Defense is also good too. So maybe he's worried about this guy. What's his name they picked up from Atlanta. He's all over the place.
McKinley?
Yes, that guy looks good. But then again, it's only practice. I like to see, but he seems to move very quickly.
All right, here's something.
I want to see him against better competition and with Pez.
Yes, exactly.
Propose this to Reddick. Guarantee $14 million, offer $1 million per sack. I wouldn't do that.
So if you get 20 sacks, you're paying $34 million?
I wouldn't do
Exactly.
You can't do that. Not in this defense playing with a lead. I wouldn't give him that. No way.
But then all he'll be doing is looking to make a sack and not worry about the
That's what
run.
Kevin said before, like he's playing for himself, not for the team.
Yeah.
All right, here's a good question. What's the slogan for the season? Oh, Christ.
Well, what am I supposed to just come off the top of my head with the slogan? Where's your slogan?
You're the slogan guy.
No, I'm heavy guy.
You're the slogan guy and the cap guy.
Yeah, slogan guy.
This is definitely a preseason call. This is a training camp call. It's terrible. Jesus Christ.
I'll come up with one. Not right now, but I'll come up with one. Because I'm true to my word.
Drink gas, eat breaks. You having a good summer, man?
Contracts.
You having a good summer, man?
It's busy right now for me, believe it or not.
Is it?
Oh yeah, a lot of things that have to be done before November. So
you can handle it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I have no choice.
Well, it was good talking to you. I think we're a little bit disappointed with the contract information.
You could be disappointed all you want.
No slogan. No slogan's even worse. I mean, prime time. How would you evaluate Afram's call?
Training camp call.
Yeah,
we're working our way back to the regular season.
What value did you add tonight? Except
I've been busy.
No, him. You were fine, prime time. You did fine. What value have you added tonight except taking calls?
Me, I had to get all the information out of Kevin. I had to ask all the people the questions to get all that knowledge out of his head. Listen, don't take your anger out of
slacking right now. You're slacking right now.
Slacking.
I'm just a caller.
You're the cap guy and the slogan guy. We got nothing.
Now I'm the slogan guy.
You gave us more questions than answers.
Yeah, well, now is my slogan going to be a shirt?
Your last name is Hackett. Afram Hackett.
Is my slogan going to be a shirt?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah?
I'll mail you a shirt. Yep.
No. I'm mailing a shirt. My slogan comes up. Are you going to make a shirt with that slogan?
Yes, of course.
Well, it depends if it's good.
I mean, it can't be like,
Well, we'll let the chat vote.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Primetime is our analyst. He's the analyst. I'm just chaos.
Yes. You're the instigator.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Gentlemen, it's always good to see you guys.
Have a good night, man.
You as well.
Have a good night, Afram.
Take care.
No slogan. Ridiculous. All right. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Long time, Kevin. How are you, bro?
Good, man. How you been?
I'm good. I'm on not vacation. I'm on a work trip in Okinawa, so I'm just waiting in my hotel for my coworkers to pick me up so we can get lunch.
Nice.
I've been seeing some of the content that you've been posting from the training camp stuff. That looks pretty cool. Just catching up on some of that stuff, but yeah, dude, freaking, it's just really good seeing you. It's been pretty much Tyson doing most of the content and stuff like that, so it's good to see you're back in the groove of things. So.
Kevin's the heavy hitter. He has all the access to all the players, all the good shit.
Right? Yeah, they got him in the interview. Did they question you about the Chris Johnson interview? Like
No,
before on the video?
Thankfully, I have not been approached about that.
A part of me thinks they didn't realize it was Kevin because it was like front and center on their social media. I'm like, do they know that's Kevin? Because
it was definitely like some intern that was recording that. So there was
probably,
no way.
Right?
We're probably fired already.
Woody probably watched it afterwards. He's like, God damn it.
Like the incompetence this team runs amok again.
Yeah, right. All good. Freaking, I'm hoping Tyrone gets on here eventually. That'd be pretty cool to see him. So
I haven't talked to him in a while. I don't know. Have you
I
talked
hope
to
he comes back before the season
Wished
starts.
him a happy birthday a month ago. Whenever it was his birthday.
I've talked to him.
Was it his birthday?
I haven't talked
Happy birthday to him anyway. So where do I even start? The Reddick stuff. I know I said we'd probably have that deal like set up before training camp start. Now I'm like, shit, I misspoke. I'm like, man, this guy's really holding out. So I'm sure they'll still work something up, but at this point, it's like it should have never even got to this point. I see both sides where like I almost kind of feel I'm a little bit more in line with Kevin in the sense that like they had to have something like some insurance that he was gonna join, and then maybe he saw all the players that we were releasing with like JFM and stuff, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna have more of like an impact on the team than I thought, so maybe I can try to get more money since it's my last paycheck. I don't know, man. I don't know how this is gonna work out at all. Like, I don't. If I'm mistaken, please let me know. But like, did Revis? Because I don't remember much of that because I was back in high school. But did he hold out this long, or was it like handled like right before training camp or like right in the
Oh, that was the Hard Knocks year too.
Yep.
That went on for a few weeks.
Now, just for everybody, there's an opening day of training camp, and they showed like the fans all lined up, getting ready to go in the facility. And Primetime is front and center to start the video. Like he's right there, right at the bat. So it's on NewYorkJets.com, the training camp one, first one.
Yeah, my 2 seconds of fame.
Yep. And then Woody Johnson,
so back to
Woody
the
Johnson
Reddick
fired
thing,
him.
right? Freaking at the Reddick thing. At this point, I'm like, you're gonna have to just if you can get a couple more million for like incentives, maybe you can get him to play. But
Bro,
if he's at 29 for hearing from everybody else, like
if he wants,
if he's gonna be.
But if he's making what it's like 14.5 now, not guaranteed. He wants 25. So what's the immediate? You meet him in the middle, 20 at Primetime. What do you offer him to get him happy? Like what's the mark?
Well, the question is it just about this year and the guarantees and some extra incentives, or is he dead set on getting that 3-4 year contract because he's worried about getting injured and possibly blowing it? Like that's what you got to figure out. If it's just about this year, I think that's eventually going to get sorted out. If he's set on that 3-year contract at the market value, which is now 25 million plus whatever it is, I don't think the Jets could do that, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Coach JD is frugal. He's not going to bow down at all.
What's the cutoff? That are a little bit older too.
Yeah. What's the cutoff typically for the? I guess players like at his position, pass rusher, where they kind of dip, like because at that point, like that's got to be your like at least like a good gauge of what you could pay him, maybe.
I mean, how many guys are putting up 15 plus sacks after 31 years old?
True too, man.
That's why to me it's like a 2-year window. This year, next year. Like I'm everybody with Rodgers, DJ Reed, give him another year. Conklin, get everybody 2 more years. Keep everybody here, and that's it. After that, blow it up. Don't care.
I would say 2, but at this point, I just keep him for the year and just let Will McDonald get better.
Like, I think you're right, Bronson. He probably wants 3 or 4 years. He doesn't want to.
Well, when he signed his contract, whenever it was, like he was getting, I think, like top 5 pass rusher money at the time. But now so many guys have gotten paid. Brian Burns, other guys. Now the market's reset itself, and he's got the non-guaranteed money for this year. You can understand from the player's perspective why he feels he should be able to cash in now after the last 4 years that he's had. I just don't see the Jets being in position to give him that.
I hate beating a dead horse, but a lot of this could have been avoided had we kept who. You know what I mean? And they could have did this shit last year, the year before, all this. This could have all been avoided. They could have still signed Will McDonald if they really wanted to. And let him have time to just keep sitting. Because I think right now he's playing with the 2s, right? Like he's playing.
If you had more faith in Huff, you don't bring Will McDonald in here because Will McDonald is a replacement.
That's true too. Yeah, for sure.
That's what they got him for.
Yep.
Like we should have got a receiver in that fucking that draft, but it is what it is.
That Will McDonald pick was so funny because I didn't know who he was. I'm like, what?
I didn't either. I know we got screwed out of the O line. Was it Broderick Jones? And then it was kind of like,
he played well last year too, of course.
Thanks.
But as for the other players like Tittman, he's learning the system. I'm sure he'll be fine if he keeps making mistakes as we get deeper into training camp. Then definitely bring Connor McGovern if we have enough money to bring at least more depth on the O line because I want like a big shield in front of Aaron Rodgers so we don't have what happened last year. So I give him some time. It's still early. I mean, I'm sure he'll get the groove of things. If not, they'll figure out a plan. As for the D-line, I'm really excited to see McKinley get more reps against more of the upper tier players on our team. Because if he's playing really good, that's awesome that we signed him. And I don't think he costed that much, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think it was like
they do a really good job at molding these guys. Kinlaw looks like a fucking beast, bro. So I'm hoping he's gonna fucking destroy. So yeah. And he's got Quinnen right next to him too, so they're going to do damage this year.
Just stop
Do
the
I
run.
think the defense takes a step back? Probably a little bit, but I think our offense is going to really make up for it. And our guys are going to play with leads too, which is going to be awesome. They're not going to be on the field like fucking 30, 40 plus minutes every time, and they have a competent offense.
Part of that was also their own doing. They couldn't get off the field on third down half the time.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And then run defense too.
Yeah. I'm sure though they'll be fine. I think we'll be okay. We just got to get the Reddick thing stuff like situated because we need them to gel together. Like
less distractions, know what you have, and then move forward.
God, dude, could you imagine if we have fucking Hard Knocks this year with this shit?
Oh, the saga. We had it with Revis. We had that nonsense.
Imagine again, like if they got.
Could you imagine
like, the run back Hard Knocks Part 2, the Jets, and they have the Reddick situation.
Eric, good talking to you, man. Glad you're doing well.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, take care, guys. Let's go Jets. All right, later, guys.
Have a good night, man. All right. So now, primetime, we've had good callers, but now we have our competition. The man with his own growing channel, who is cranking out all kinds of content. He's got his own little fancy studio, and he's grown up all before our eyes now. He's a blossoming star right now.
It's got to be Bubs, right?
Yep. This guy. He's got logos.
How's it going?
He's got shorts. He's got a sponsor. I told you have a sponsor now for your show. We don't even have a fucking sponsor.
How's it going?
He's got a sponsor.
Who's your sponsor?
What?
Who's your sponsor?
SeatGeek.
Right.
We don't got that. We begged Truly. They said no. We can't get anything.
Didn't we have some, at one point a while back?
What's that?
Didn't SeatGeek like reach out to us at one point a while back? Or no?
I think so. There was like some kind of like ridiculous offer they gave us.
True. Wait, what was that? Truly or
Truly?
Yeah, the drinks.
Which ones gave you the offer? Truly?
No, we tried.
Oh,
Yeah,
We begged Truly. We were drinking them endlessly on the show.
yeah.
4 hours every Sunday.
I've switched to
Those
high
were
noon.
the those were the COVID streams.
I do Surfside now.
I had a few of those
yeah.
the other night. Pretty good.
The lemonades or the iced tea?
The lemonade iced tea, the combo one.
Yeah, they're not bad.
The
It's got the sweetener that I don't like though.
the surf sides are always advertised on the Fan. I always hear them on there.
Yeah.
They're pretty. They've gone pretty popular now, or
Yeah, it's
from what I've
summer,
heard.
Good
but-
summer drink from what he heard.
Yeah.
No, to luck. They'll be sponsoring him soon now. Like, oh yeah, we'll sponsor this nice clean cut kid. So give us your take on Reddick, man.
I mean, it's like an extra added distraction. It just it doesn't need to happen. Like you look at the Giants with Brian Burns, it's the same exact situation that we should have had, where you get the extension done ideally, or you know what you're getting into before the trade, because the Giants knew that they already had the extension done with Burns before they even finished the deal. And then the deal happened, they gave him the extension. It's like the same exact thing, which is frustrating because it feels like it just gives off the vibes like the same old Jets, never a dull moment. Like you trade for this guy, they say he was going to be here, OTAs, minicamp, whatever. That's just the Jets angle. And then now he's not here. And I said I would start worrying August 1st and I would be in full on panic mode like mid-August, but I'm already starting to worry. So that's not good. But you would really like to see him out. I mean, I really hope that something, it felt like the Josina Anderson report, I think came out Saturday. You hope that with the day off yesterday, they could get something done yesterday. He'd be here for pads by, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe.
And he got the extra $300K in fines today, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And then you'd have obviously the joint practices in a week with Washington where he would be out there and you could really start to ramp up in football shape. But that just doesn't seem like it's happening. And it really feels like there's no end in sight right now.
So how do you resolve it then?
Yeah, I think you try and give him a Band-Aid deal is the best case scenario. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Amari Cooper deal, I think I mentioned this to you prime time, but it was like converting non-guaranteed into guaranteed. I think they gave him $5 million or something in incentives. Yeah, I know he wants that $25 million. If you can try and bridge to get to 20 to 22 million, try and meet in the middle, like you were saying, convert the non-guaranteed into guaranteed, give him incentives, whether it's games played, snaps, playoff wins, whatever, some individual stats as well. So it's not just that sacks where he's just chasing sacks and stuff. Ideally, you do that because he needs to get to a point. He needs the Jets just like the Jets need him. They both need each other. So I think he's eventually going to take a Band-Aid deal, realize he needs to play, realize he needs this team as much as this team needs
So
him.
why do you never reply to your comments?
I don't know.
That's terrible, dude. If somebody takes time to watch your content, you don't respond to their comment.
I don't even know if Oscar the Grouch.
Bro.
I don't know if he hasn't commented in a while. I haven't seen him in a
We've
while.
taught you better than this. Prime time, I thought you taught him better than this. He knows better than this.
I've been better with my replies. I think I answer everybody.
See, Clancy.
I reply. Yeah, I reply sometimes.
So then, where do you get your haircut? Random man wants to know. It's a hard hitting questions right here. You don't know how hard is this to answer?
Like the revival, I think it's over in. You need to hire a reply guy.
It's like a bar club.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
Haircuts.
See, now he's overwhelmed. The chat's eating him alive.
The chat.
What are your thoughts on the Alan Lazard comeback story? You buying in?
Sort of. Yeah, a little bit. I was buying in, and today was kind of like the summer of Lazard. Summer of Lazard got stuck today. Like kind of got put on hold.
Soccer ball
with the drop.
That's good.
Yeah, he did. He actually said that.
Yep.
He said that on the interview he had today about putting the soccer ball away. So
because the Jets know, man. The Jets, they see what the fans say all over Twitter. They rip them to shreds over it.
Yeah.
It was the most obvious thing to get rid of, to try to appease everybody.
Yeah, 100%. It was terrible. He was getting crushed for it. Rightfully so. He deserved to get crushed for it. I mean, he actually practices with a football now, but he's been great. The three touchdowns, the one in Saturday almost ended practice, but then he did another set of team drills. But I think one of them has ended. Two of them have ended practice, or
back-to-back practices. I think right?
Back-to-back practices, and he had one Saturday. The drops are just a part of his game. So like today, it's going to happen. That's just the player he is. He was like that in Green Bay, but yeah, I've been happy with him. I mean, once Mike Williams comes back, he's going to drop a little bit in terms of reps, but for now, it's good to see at least. I mean,
is there any timeline for Mike Williams at prime time? I haven't heard anything. Nothing, right?
I haven't heard anything either.
They
say he's going to be ready for week 1, so that's
it's the Brees. It's the Brees timeline. Saleh keeps saying.
Oh Christ!
Which is what he'll probably. I think. What was it?
Like mid-August.
Did he come back second week of the preseason last year, Brees, or something like that? Mid-August. So
that'd be fine as long as you get him a couple of weeks and at least 2-3 weeks of camp.
I thought I heard something the other day or a week ago that he was ahead of schedule. I don't know who was from.
Aaron Rodgers said that.
Yeah,
Rodgers said that he was.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just him trying to be optimistic, but we're doing all the work on the side field. Just now, it's good to see at least the offensive line's healthy, though. I mean, it's July and we almost have the starting 5 out there.
You think we're going to see Jordan Travis at all this summer or no?
Nope.
I don't know. Saleh kind of was skeptical with that. That's why they keep bringing in they brought in Ben Bryant for a day, then they cut him, and they brought in the other guy from the UFL.
Yeah, Martinez.
Yeah, I think so. Didn't he play in Nebraska too?
Yeah.
So they got Ben Bryant involved with the Rodgers handshake for one day.
That's all he threw the joint away, and then he still gets cut. Should have hit it.
Unfortunately, yes. Ben Bryant, the legendary Ben Bryant summer run. Still summer of Peasley still on though.
Who do they have? They have the MVP of the UFL, right? Or no? Who they got the other quarterback?
That's
right?
Martinez.
Adrian.
They just signed him Saturday, and then they released I think Nehemiah Shelton and Ben Bryant, I think, and then they've got Peasley still. So they've got what 2 camp arms, I guess.
Peasley had a nice throw Saturday. That one deep ball to Harrell, I think. Yeah,
Peasley's pretty good. Peasley's solid. He could sling it a little bit. He'll be slinging it in the third and fourth quarter of some of these games with the no names out there. So he'll get a lot of reps. It'll be good for him. Maybe he lands practice squad. Maybe
he'll be playing a lot in the first preseason game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you don't want to work. Tyrod doesn't need all the work either. You just give it to Peasley, give it to Martinez. I don't think Travis will ever get any reps, which is kind of unfortunate because with him sitting, you would like to see him in these preseason games because that's all he's going to get. But
let him get that was a horrific injury that he had last year. Let him sit here. Let him get healthy. Not even have to worry about playing. Not take up a roster spot. Yeah.
And don't rush him. Let him just take his time, man.
Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. Just sit and watch and absorb. Just being in those rooms too with Rodgers is huge for him as well. I mean, I see him. He's doing stuff on the side field, so he's obviously working his way back. But he'll be, maybe he's the answer. Maybe you get Rodgers 2 years.
Not for the
then
next 2
Travis.
years, man. That's it.
No. But 2 years of Rodgers, Travis, 10 years of Jordan Travis, and we'll be looking like Green Bay in no time.
Sign me up. Bubs, good talking to you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. How you doing?
You good, man?
I love when you get sidetracked by the chat. They just once you say something to a Muppet, it's all over.
Chat was relentless on Bubs.
Kevin, thanks for always saying hello and all the great footage at camp.
Of course,
you're a man of the
mate.
people.
Anytime.
See that? Celebrity. All right. Our cleanup hitter, who we haven't talked to in like, I don't know how long it's been. It's been a long time.
I talked to him last week.
Did you? How's he doing?
Yeah, he's doing good.
We can skip him tonight then.
We could. And yeah, guess what? Guess what I received?
What?
An invite for fantasy football.
No way.
I'm back.
Was he drunk?
Maybe. I don't know.
What in the hell? You invited Kevin back?
Yes, and no, I wasn't drunk.
Did you kick out Cassandra?
No, she signed off on it. She signed off on it.
She signed off on it? Was she the boss? The president?
She's the champ.
Back, baby.
Now, now, I want to see Kevin win the league just to piss all of you guys off.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Guaranteed.
I got a slogan for you guys.
Uh-oh.
It can either be for this season
All
or
right.
next season.
Okay.
Rogers love ride.
What was it? Rogers.
Last
Love.
ride. I mean, hopefully that's next year. I don't want to think about this year.
Like I said, it could be either this year or next. I didn't say win.
Who did Primetime replace in the league? It was you, Armand. You're out.
Kieran.
Kieran's out. Oh, what happened to Kieran? You don't like him no more?
He disappears.
So does Kevin. He doesn't do the league either. He's gonna do his
No,
lap like 4 times and then quit.
No, I mean
I'm back for real.
he disappeared from our group chat
Oh,
on the X.
Maybe he's busy. It's the summertime. People travel and stuff.
he was at training camp once last year too. Sat next to me. Haven't heard from him since though. Hope he's all right.
He's right then. Shit.
I haven't heard from him since.
So here's a very important question. Are you gonna do cooking videos again?
Nobody
I could.
But will you?
And my kitchen's still a little.
What about tailgating? Tailgate cooking.
Tailgating, definitely have some
All right.
tailgating videos. That's always.
So Jose, how's life without Pete Carroll? You guys are gonna suck this year.
Actually, Pete Carroll was at training camp on Saturday saying hello.
Well, he's still part of your organization. He's just not in the coaching staff, right?
Yes.
All right. So what do you think about your new coach? You inspired? You gonna make the playoffs? You're on with Geno Smith? What's going on?
I'm thinking of the 10 wins.
10 wins.
Yes.
The Seahawks?
Yes.
This year or combined the next 2 years?
This year. Because
Who
of
spoke over there?
10
our
wins? What?
because of the schedule, because we have a cupcake schedule if you look at it.
Yeah, but those games that you're looking at as cupcake games, they're looking at the Seahawks exactly the same way.
The Giants, the Cardinals twice. The Cardinals, I'm supposed to be afraid of the Cardinals. PT.
Cardinals, I wouldn't worry about.
Kyler Murray
Giants-
comeback tour.
Giants, I could see beating you guys.
Definitely.
With what quarterback?
Doesn't matter.
Daniel Jones will run for 150 yards on you guys.
Yep.
Daniel Jones can't even stay healthy.
The Giants are a mess too, though. But I think they're still better than the Seahawks.
You know the Giants are going to have a problem when what's his name lost all that weight. Once Rex became skinny Rex, like that was it. That was
Brian
that was
Dable's all
his
skinny
downfall.
now. He's doing Pilates or
Yeah.
some shit.
Yep, that was his downfall. Yep.
Tyson, how have you been?
Doing good, man. Enjoying summer. Football's back. Jets are going to be great. I'm doing good.
I'm not gonna shit on your dream.
Why? See, how can you shit on our dream? We have one of the best rosters on paper in the AFC right now. Your team's a dumpster fire.
I'm not.
Bunch of clowns. You're not winning 10 games this year.
I said I'm not gonna.
No, but you want to though. You want to talk some shit, but you can't. You
He's
know,
a
on
Jets
paper,
fan. He's a Jets fan now. Why would he want to talk shit?
I know.
He's rooting for us.
I'm not saying a word.
Yes, you're trying to. You're trying to be clever, but I see right through your nonsense. I know how you roll.
You know me too well. It's been,
I do. I know exactly how you roll.
2 years.
What do you think about the new Eminem album? You like it?
Yes, I like it.
Is it one of his best, or where's it rank?
Number 3.
Number 3?
Yeah.
Where do you put it, prime time?
Some good songs. Not a huge fan. I like some of the songs though. Definitely not
Where
like
do you
top
put
three,
it?
I think.
Oscar.
Oh,
Hey, what up?
the dog heard his bad takes. Now the dog's barking.
Make sure you sub to my channel if you haven't already.
What's your name of your channel?
Jack Sport Talk with Jose Rodriguez.
Well, make sure you tweet it out, and we'll retweet it and stuff.
All right, I
Because
will.
clearly Bubs is on our shit list now, so now we got to support you more.
Thank you.
Have a good night,
Good
man.
job, Les. All right, guys, have a good night.
You
Have a
too,
good night,
man.
Jose.
Love you guys.
Love you, man.
Love you, man.
Yep. Now we got to support Jose's channel, not Bubs. Bubs is gone. So
Some things don't change.
it's not. It's true. I was gonna keep Vincent on the thing, but I couldn't do it anymore.
Did he show
So
up?
I kicked it off. It was just that light. It was a light, like a room with a light in it. That was it. Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez on YouTube. I think Bubs is Bubs on Sports. I think that's what his is. So, all right, prime time. We made it through our first stream of all intelligent conversations. How many more do you think we'll have like this?
I think we'll have a few more. I think we'll get through. I think we'll get through August. Hopefully, the first few weeks of September, and then who knows from there.
Do you think? Yeah, this is it. We're back. But now, when do you think? What is the first sign that things can go off the rails? Would it be? What could it be? A big injury, or is it a Reddick something? What could set us
I'm
off?
sure there's going to be some injury in one of the preseason games that's going to have us a little rattled, and then we'll start talking up whoever the next guy up is, and we'll be fine a week later.
All right, we'll find. Yeah, I think we'll be smooth sailing for a little while. I think.
I think this roster is actually built to withstand a couple injuries. I mean, obviously, you don't want to see any, but it's inevitable throughout most seasons. You're going to have some guys that get hurt. You need to be able to adjust and adapt. So I think this roster is capable of it. I don't know if the coaching staff is, but I love where the roster's at.
Yeah, I have not said that. Listen, Elmo. I am really, really optimistic. I'm happy. I'm excited. Nothing. I mean, you have even that depth at quarterback. I mean, it's a well put together roster right now.
Yep.
So we'll see how long this lasts. This is what, July 29th. We'll see where we are at August 29th. Hopefully it doesn't change. So
Stay tuned for more videos tomorrow. I'll be out.
So
there
what
bright and
practices
early.
are you going to? How many more open practices are there?
I want to say, so I got tickets for the next 3 that were made available today. Then there's obviously tomorrow's practice, the 3 after that. And I think there's 2 more, so 8 total. So I think there's like 6 more.
Is the green and white at the stadium, or is that at their facility?
No, it's at the facility.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
All right. So at Talk Jets Radio all over the place. I mean, you had to see Primetime's videos are everywhere, man. So just if you're gonna take them, just please at least give us credit for them. That's all we don't ask for much, but at least acknowledge they're Kevin's. Like, don't just be putting the shit out there at your own. That's just ridiculous.
But most people have been giving credits though.
There's a couple that consistently don't do it, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Is what it is.
Thank you guys for joining us. We definitely appreciate it. We're back. All kinds of chaos. If you see Primetime, buy him stuff at the practices. He likes what? Gatorades and
You don't have to buy me anything. Just say hello, give me a handshake. I'll take a picture. You don't got to buy me anything.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good week.
Have a good night.